forget, of course, the clocks went forward last week. I think it's a lot darker this morning. Of course, the mornings have got darker again, and the evenings have got lighter. So my car light is back on, and it's time to do another fragrance drive along. It's that start of the week. Got my buttermint in my mouth. My week at work begins. So the topic I wanted to talk about today was kind of inspired by the fact I've just bought 6 clone fragrances, which by the time you see this, it will be a little while since I did that. But it was an offer on the Essental, and you know, they're just like cheap clones of very expensive fragrances essentially. And I obviously was saying to everyone, you need to get this offer, and I thought, well, you know, it's nice to get clones, it's always nice to get a fragrance, but what am I really recommending there? Should I recommend fragrances? Should anyone be recommending fragrances to anyone else? Because obviously I do a channel where I talk about what I really like, and I try and keep it as honest as I can. One thing I'll always do on my videos is hopefully not say you must buy this. There's times where I've actually genuinely, you know, I've said, okay, I think this is so good you can safely buy it, and I think you're going to like it. But as a general rule of thumb, I like to sort of just give my opinions, and then it's up to you to decide whether you want them or not. And I never try and let how much I've spent on a fragrance, you know, certain brands that I just absolutely love, you know, influence my thought process to recommending it to someone. But should we recommend at all? So we'll look at the pros and cons and then give my overall thoughts today. So obviously my brother and me, we both like buying fragrances. He got me into it. And the one thing I'd say in terms of an argument for recommending is, I feel like with him, because we know each other and what we like so well, because we've tried so many and shared sort of fragrances over the years, I could feel pretty confident I would know what he would like. I know roughly what he likes in terms of fragrances. He definitely prefers those sweeter fragrances, those more boozy fragrances. And if I should buy him a present for Christmas or his birthday, I normally think I've got a good idea, and I've done quite well with that in the past. You know, Azzaro Pour Homme Intense is one of his absolute favourites, which I got for him, and it had that lovely boozy smell, and I just knew that was going to be a success. If it had that high quality smell, which it did, he was going to like it. And I feel like I could quite happily recommend him sprays that I've tried, and him vice versa for me, and I would trust his judgment for me to buy it. So I think you've got to know the person, and I think if you do know the person quite well, you're in a good place to recommend a fragrance based on how they dress, how they, you know, what scents they like, and I think that's a good thing. On the opposite side, obviously if you don't know them that well, you know, I've got cousins, nephews, all these things people might have, and you may really not know what they want, and you may just sort of guess, oh, that's what a teenage boy would like, or a teenage girl, and end up just buying something they don't like. So I think for me, you've got to really know who they are to recommend a fragrance properly. Certainly if you're spending up with, if it's a cheapie like £5-10, that's slightly different, but for me it's more about knowing them as a person, which is key to recommend it. But price, as I just touched on, does matter. Would I recommend on my channel or my videos you to go and spend £300 on a fragrance? Probably not. Even if I think it's the best fragrance in the world, it's the investment there. It's too much of a risk. £300 for a spray, I think it's overpriced, whatever. But you know, for me, I'd always probably, if I think it's really good, I'd always recommend a clone first. I'd probably say go and get a Lost Cherry clone, go and get a Tobacco Vanille clone, go and get an Acqua di Gio clone, or whatever you want, before you go and spend that. Even though I may think actually that original is really worth buying and you're going to absolutely love it, as a general rule of thumb you probably would. Choking on my buttermint now. Then yeah, I would probably say that's another reason why I wouldn't necessarily recommend a spray, or I'd have to consider price when factoring in recommendations. That being said, I do think hopefully I have a bit of knowledge about sprays where I can help you. If someone said to me now, I really want to spray, I don't know really what I like, what would you recommend? Well, I always feel like I'd probably then just investigate a little bit more before I recommend. So I don't know, say you said I really like that one you were wearing, and it was say a fruity scent, or you know, a chocolate fragrance or something along those lines, just maybe a fresh citrus. I could probably then go, well, these are the ones that I really like that are citrus heavy, or they've got a certain scent DNA, and I think that does help. If you've tried a lot of sprays, you can kind of recommend more, and that means then you're not focusing one person on one thing particularly. So that would be another reason why I potentially would recommend, or when I would recommend, is more a case of just when I probably wouldn't just limit it to one option. If I feel like I've got good knowledge on a certain genre of spray, then I'd probably do that as well. The other reason I don't like to recommend things as well is, and this is just from my own experience, is sometimes when you look on Fragrantica, people will look at read reviews, and I'd always say, if someone says to me they've read a load of reviews and everyone says it's great, I'd still probably say just steer away from it. I've had fragrances that I don't particularly love, and they get good reviews, and then I've had others where I go, I mean, Invictus, for example, is a popular fragrance. I'm not a fan of Invictus. I don't think I'll ever buy Invictus. I certainly wouldn't buy the original. I was tempted to buy the clone of it the other day, but there were still 10, 11, 12 fragrances that I preferred to Invictus, just because it's a bit juvenile, a bit bubblegummy to me. But I know Fabulous by Tom Ford, whether that's changed now, didn't get the best reviews on Fragrantica. I think a lot of that was because of how the name was a bit edgy, but I thought the scent was fantastic, and it was under 4 stars on Fragrantica. So you just got to look for these things. Sometimes there may be other reasons why people don't like a certain fragrance. I'd never recommend, to be honest, and this is going to be a bit of a contradiction, people to go and trust people on YouTube, so like myself, but I kind of more mean the people who are recommending fragrances, and you'll know the channels, we know all the main channels, but they've got an ulterior motive too. They may be sponsored by the company, they may have been sent it as a like a free sample to review. I always do that with an air of caution. The amount of times I've seen a fragrance reviewer online, or not just fragrance reviewers, people reviewing pairs of shoes. I mean, even myself, I got sent I was one of the first people to get the new Huel drinks, these like green drinks. Now, I can honestly hand on heart tell you, I really did like them. They sent me 3, they're like health drinks. I did a video on it a little while ago. And I thought they were very nice, and I would recommend them to people who maybe don't have the healthiest diet in the world. But for the average person, would I recommend them? Probably not. As I said, it's very kind that they sent me them, but I'd hate to feel like I'm telling you something I don't truly believe in. And subconsciously as well, let's not forget, if Aqua de Parma reached out to me now and said, we're going to send you our new fragrance, it's a Colonia, and let's just say I don't maybe like it as much as the Senza or Colonia Club or Colonia Intensa or whatever, Pura, because someone's giving it to me for free, I'll probably subconsciously even just go, do you know what, that's alright that, even if I was buying it maybe from scratch, I wouldn't. So you do have this subconscious bias as well, and that's again why I always try and be as honest as I can be in my reviews, and try to really consider the full facts, because as I said, if you're trusting my judgment on these, and some of you very kindly say, I need to get my nose on this, I don't want you to think, what I've told you is absolute guff and complete made up nonsense. I'll never do that, even if I was sent something for free. I wouldn't, because let's be honest, it is subjective, and I think that's the other thing with fragrances. We've got to remember, it does not matter how much you think you know about fragrances. You don't know any more than anyone else, and I'll never claim to know any more. The only thing I may know more of is if someone hadn't bought a fragrance before, they may not know what to look for. But other than that, in terms of actually what you like and don't like, not a chance. I think it's really important you make your own judgment, and that's why I like my fitness fragrance reviews, because I can count. I might score something 4 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, and that's just how I feel at that moment, rather than, as I said, my opinions have changed on sprays over the years. There's plenty that I didn't like at the time that I certainly do like now. Come on, car, overtake me. There we go. It's a bit quieter today, being the Easter holidays, even though work will be even busier as a result of that. So, is there any other reason why I think you shouldn't recommend a fragrance? I would say. I mean, I'm terrible for it. My brother's sometimes, I've got him to try foods and I've said, oh, you'll like this, and then he doesn't like it, or alternatively he may absolutely love it. Black pudding was one. I love black pudding, and I told him to try it, and he said he's not sure about it, and he absolutely loves it now. But there's other things he's tried that he's gone, oh, it was a waste of time trying it. Right. I feel like I've almost finished most of my video here, but I've spoken about everything I really wanted to today. I've made that debate so easy. So overall, yes, I wouldn't recommend. But let's talk about what I'm actually wearing today. I am still wearing at the moment. And I'm a bit disappointed I keep wearing it, but I can't stop wearing it. Elf of the Throb. I've mentioned this fragrance by Lush so many times. Now they've discontinued this one because obviously the collaboration or whatever they were doing seems to have kind of half-ended. What I'm going to say is, if Lush are listening, which they won't be, but if someone from Lush, if we can get a petition, so they need to keep this scent DNA because it is amazing. It's this green smoky vanilla. It changed my whole opinion on collaboration scents by them, and I believe they've got a new collaboration back out. I think it might be Mario again. Worth checking out. Their collaborations are very interesting, very unique, and I think they might have Mr. Bean, or that might be, maybe that's Oddballs, which is some of my bright coloured running tops. But let me know as well, if you've made it to this stage and you've decided to listen to me waffle on for ages, what brands would you like to see collaborate with, a fragrance company, or in this case Lush? I would like the England national football team. I think that would be a good one, or a football sports team in any way, shape or form, where they could release almost like a blue fragrance. Lush have never actually done like a blue fragrance. Now that might be because, again, a lot of the molecules I think in blue fragrances tend to be synthetic, and Lush don't like that. But I would like Lush to release a blue fragrance. I think that'd be great. And again, if you collaborate with like an England football team, it's kind of that shower gel sporty vibe. And especially with the World Cup this year, I think that'd be a brilliant idea to do. But if I try and think of anything else, I'd like it to be with a celebrity as well. You could collaborate with a sports star, whether that's a cricket player, a golfer. A golfer would be good because you could do like a grassy fragrance again. But you could do like a tennis one as well, where you have like a grassy smell, like tennis balls, or I don't mean tennis balls as such, but you could definitely be a bit playful with that one. I think that'd be quite good. Replicate sort of the smell of something you get in those sports, because certain sports definitely the equipment has a certain smell to it. What else can we talk about? I want to waffle until I get to work, so if you made it this far, I apologise. The quality of this video is, well, it's as rubbish as it normally is, let's be honest with you. Why don't I tell you about some of the other things that are coming up? So obviously you would have seen I've done a quiz recently. I've got more quizzes I want to do. I want to kind of do a bit of a video, or again, let me know if there's something you'd be interested in, where we talk about, at the moment here, obviously by the time you see this, it'll be beyond that, but it's Easter time. And I was looking at the prices of Easter eggs the other day, and they were about, I think that's £7 an Easter egg. They were extortionate. And what we could almost do is play a bit of a game where, let's say, I don't know, we pick let's say you go out for a meal with your friends. What would the standard price be if you went to a McDonald's, for example? Let's just say it was £35, you went with 5 friends. How many sprays and what sprays could you buy for those £35 to get, to cover all 5 people, for example? So almost like a bit of a compare and contrast. If you were to buy, I don't know, we could change it. We could even do like a really expensive one, like a car. My car, say, costs £5,000 second hand. What could you buy, in terms of fragrances for £5,000 if you had that money instead? So that's something I want to do a little bit more. To be honest, I'm trying to come up, I want to do a few more science experiments. So I bought this home lab kit over Christmas time. It's like a kid's set, where it's like you put like these tongs in an apple and it lights up a light. I'm sure we can do some more fragrance experiments as well. And yeah, just all sorts of I want to be creative. I said, please let me know if you've got any ideas as well, because I kind of make what I like, and I hope obviously then that someone else would like them as well. But I want you to let me know as well. Some of you have come up with some amazing ideas for my fragrance stories about, you know, spraying as long as you sneeze, and do you want me to do some more films? But they seem to be quite liked. Sometimes it's just thinking about what I can come up with. It's a huge lorry. But yeah, that is kind of it for today. So yes, I think recommending fragrances is good, but always go with your own gut instinct, or go for what you like, because fragrances are so subjective, and that's what makes them great. Subjectivity is the key, and that's why fragrances will always be fantastic. No one's right or wrong. It's just whatever you think is right for you. That's the important thing. But thank you very much for watching today, and yeah, I'll catch you later.